Welcome, everyone, to 2021's Back to Baseball with the Minnesota Twins virtual event. I'm Dick Bramer, your Minnesota Twins TV play-by-play announcer on Bally Sports North. I'm thrilled to be joining you once again from Target Field today to host this annual event as we celebrate the return of baseball and fans to Target Field. We want to begin by acknowledging that the past few weeks, and in fact this past year, have been challenging for many reasons, from COVID-19 to the racial inequities we're working on in our communities. As time marches on, moving us into spring and summer, we remain hopeful that we can all continue to make progress toward a better future. You can learn more about the work and the investments. There we are. Sorry about that. We can learn more about the work and the investments of the Minnesota Twins and your chambers of commerce in these areas by visiting their websites. Now, we know the reason you are all here with us today is that you're excited about the new baseball season and moving forward into spring, because it brings us together to experience one of our favorite pastimes, of course, baseball. Today's event is our opportunity to bring the ballpark to you. The Minnesota Twins are such a beloved part of our community and an incredibly important economic asset. This 17th annual event, brought to you by the Minneapolis Regional Chamber and the St. Paul Area Chamber in partnership with the Minnesota Twins, is our opportunity each year to celebrate the Minnesota Twins and welcome our team back to kick off the season. Today's event will highlight what's new this year for the Minnesota Twins and outline their key strategies for the upcoming season. We'll also hear exclusive interviews with Twins manager Rocco Baldelli and star players Jose Barrios and Luis Arraez, and much more. Plus, later in the program, we'll give away Minnesota Twins prize packs to 3 lucky attendees. So stick around. You might be a winner at the end of our event. Before we get started, we have several companies and partners to recognize today. First, our premier sponsor, Abbott. Our contributing sponsors are Flint Hills Resources, Frame Changers, Meserly Kramer, the Minnesota Timberwolves and Lynx, Mortensen, St. Paul Pioneer Press, and XL Energy. Our event-level sponsors are 5 Eyewitness News, DLR Group, McGough, Minnesota United FC, and Voice Hive. And we would like to thank our event partners and sponsors as well, the Minnesota Twins Baseball Club and the Twins Community Fund. So now, to kick off today's event, let me first introduce you to your 2021 Minnesota Twins.
Now today, finally at long last, the home opener here at Target Field. Certainly always a memorable day, but this one no doubt feels a bit special, as for the first time since late 2019, fans are back in downtown Minneapolis.
Opener at Target Field. Be ready, guys.
Let's do it, baby. Morning. How you guys doing?
Let's do it. Hello, fans. Let's do this. Botamos. Go, papá. Chill.
And the best part of that, of course, seeing the fans at Target Field once again. And joining us now, the Minnesota Twins president and chief executive officer, Dave St. Peter. Dave, thanks for joining us today. It was a thrill for all of us to be able to see fans. We'll never get tired of seeing that again, but I know that's been the highlight of the season for you and for me as well.
You know, Dick, it's great to be with everybody today, and you're right. There's just no stating that enough, how vital it is for fans to be back in our ballpark and how much we missed fans in 2020. We played games in a truncated season. We played great baseball. We had the best home record, I think, in Major League Baseball a year ago. But, if I never hear that fake crowd noise again, it will be too soon. And just the energy that fans bring. And we're hopeful that while today we're at 10,000 fans, that over time that number is going to increase. We're working really closely with the Department of Health and the state of Minnesota governor's office and the other pro sports teams in town, including the Saints, with the hopes that we're going to be able to get more fans on both sides of the river over the course of the 2021 season.
The gates have been opened, but cautiously. What can you tell fans who've not been here yet what the fan experience is like that would be unusual for them compared to 2 years ago?
Well, we certainly have been working on this for a long time and really studying best practices about how you can play baseball, how you can conduct a live event and do it safely in the midst of a pandemic. So seating is different. We're currently ticketing in pods of 2s and 4s, all socially distanced by 6 feet. In addition to that, we've obviously gone to a more touchless environment, so mobile ticketing, cashless concessions, things of that nature. Masks are required, and unless you're eating or drinking. And the best news, Dick, is we talk to our fans regularly about a lot of issues, including about their game experience, and the feedback that we've received from our fans to this point has been overwhelmingly positive. We're tracking at about 95% of the people that are attending games at Target Field are saying that they feel safe, not just with COVID, but with the entire experience, driveway to driveway. And, that's something we didn't take for granted either relative to some of the perceptions around public safety and things of that nature. So far, so good. We're chipping away at some of this 10,000 fans at a time. And we're hopeful of seeing those numbers increase, knowing we can do it safely over the course of the summer.
And would that be done incrementally? Do you think, okay, 10,000 now, maybe 50% capacity, 75, and then 100? Or can you imagine a world where the gates will be fully open? Hey, come on and watch a ball game.
Well, I think there's probably going to be a couple steps, Dick, that we're going to need to take. Ultimately, that's going to be up to Governor Walz and the Minnesota Department of Health. But we're staying as close to them as we possibly can. We're anticipating some news, maybe even later this week. But certainly our goal is over the course of time, as we think about the middle of summer at Target Field, is to hopefully being in a position to be back very close to full capacity.
This is a big day for baseball because it's opening day for minor league baseball. And one of the changes in the Twins organization, the AAA affiliate will be 10 miles away instead of over 1,000 miles away. The St. Paul Saints, affiliated to the Twins now, or with the Twins, and we've already seen, people going back and forth from one facility to the other as the roster changes. But talk a little bit about the genesis of that idea. The benefits are pretty obvious, and we'll talk with Derek Falvey about that. But how did all of this originate?
Well, it's something that we've thought about and maybe even dreamed about for a long time, Dick. But it took an effort to reimagine minor league baseball at the national level for this to become a possibility. And, I first heard about that vision dating back now a couple years. And at the end of the day, as that vision became much more feasible, geographical realignment ultimately was the path. And we knew there were going to be baseball operations benefits, but frankly, I think there's benefits that go well beyond that. I think it's just good for baseball in the upper Midwest. I know it's great for our brand. I think it's great for the Saints brand. We have such admiration for what the Saints organization has built in their own right over the last 2+ decades. And none of this is rooted in changing the Saints in any way. We want them to continue to be the marketing geniuses that they are. At the end of the day, I think what's going to be different is the players that are playing for the Saints are going to be now Twins prospects, the future Twins. And none of this happens without Jim Polad having that belief, having that support, having that confidence that 1 + 1 can equal 3. And really thankful that Jim provided that level of support. And then it was just a matter of convincing Mike Veck and Mark Goldklang and Bill Murray and others that the time was right to go to affiliated baseball. And I'll let them speak for themselves, but we could not be more thrilled to have the St. Paul Saints as our AAA affiliate.
Now, I know the Twins are at home and the Saints are opening on the road. I'm imagining, and this is the baseball fan in me speaking out, there might be opportunities for fans to come down here, maybe watch the Saints play on a Saturday afternoon and the Twins Saturday night. Is that going to be doable?
There's no doubt about it, Dick. I think, those are the types of things that are going to happen. It's going to harken back to the old days of the Millers and the Saints. I think it's feasible you're going to have a Twins player playing a rehab assignment in the afternoon in St. Paul and then suit up for the Twins that evening at Target Field. I think that's going to happen. So, again, the synergies on this are remarkable. I think that fans of the Saints will develop emotional connections to players that are playing over in St. Paul. And guess what? When those players graduate and they move over to Target Field, those fans are going to come over to the ballpark in Minneapolis to watch and vice versa. So, and we're working together on some other initiatives, really specifically around how we can grow the game of baseball across the upper Midwest. So there's a lot of collaboration going on, and it's all rooted in how we can grow our game and create new fans. And I think a lot of the Twins will probably rub off on the Saints, but I'm predicting more of the Saints will rub off on the Twins. I'm waiting for the pig to make its Target Field debut.
Well, this has been a challenging time for any business. In the baseball world, there was a season last year, 60 games, Twins won another championship. And it's unfair to ask anybody to predict the future because who knows, right? But what do you envision down the road, the business model for not just the Twins, but Major League Baseball moving forward, and how it might have been impacted by what we've had to endure for the last 14 months?
Well, I think some aspects of our game day experience will stay. I mean, in terms of some of the efficiencies around technology and mobile ticketing and things like that. But I think that at the end of the day, what makes our sport special are the players that play it. We're seeing that with the Twins right now. Byron Buxton, in and of himself, is worth the price of admission. The facilities we play in, we are so blessed in this town to have a premier major league facility in Minneapolis and one of the best minor league facilities in the country over in St. Paul. And to have a partnership there is really special. And then I just think the connection to families and kids. Our game still remains the most affordable of all the professional sports, and that is not going to change. We need, as an industry, to continue to do more to get more kids playing our game and to try to evolve our game and our industry in a way that we ensure relevance amongst a younger generation, a more diverse generation. And those are things that we actually have more momentum on today than at any time during my Twins career. And I'm excited about the future of baseball, not just here in the Twin Cities, but across this nation.
Well, Dave, thanks so much for your time today. Twins are playing pretty good baseball right now. Let's see if we can keep it going.
Thanks, Dick. We invite everybody to come out and see us at Target Field at some point soon.
All right. Our thanks to Dave St. Peter. And now we'll hear from Executive Chair and owner of the Minnesota Twins Baseball Club, Jim Polad. He was unfortunately unable to join us here live, but he didn't want to miss the opportunity to talk with us, so he recorded his remarks to share with us earlier today. And now joining me is Executive Chair and owner of the Minnesota Twins Baseball Club, Jim Polad. And Jim, when we did this event back last year, it was about 3 weeks into the season, but it was a season we weren't even sure at that point that we were going to be able to complete. There was a lot on everybody's plate. How encouraged are you that the worst is behind us on so many fronts and that we are progressing toward whatever the new normal is going to be?
Yeah, I think that we're definitely progressing toward towards a return to normalcy. I certainly can't predict what the new normal is going to be. I personally don't believe it's going to be much different than what it was prior to pandemic.
The Twins organization's done a lot of work to make sure that the fan experience, different though it may be, is a safe experience. What protocols have the Twins undertaken here to make sure that fans who are able to come to this beautiful ballpark can feel safe in doing so?
Yeah, I think that, the protocols in general are probably not that much different than last year. And I'm not referring to fans, of course. I'm referring to the players. And the more players and so-called tier one staff, that's those people that are vitally important to game production. The more of those people that get vaccinated, the quicker we'll be to relaxing all the protocols within the Twins organization. As far as the fans go, I mean, part of that is driven by public and the public policy regarding, especially as promulgated by the governor, and because he is instrumental and worked with us and been great working with us toward getting even the 25%. But I suspect that as the season progresses, hopefully we will, that 25% will increase, and the protocols that relate to pertain to fans, such as groups of 4, etc., will be relaxed also.
I mentioned at the outset that we've had a lot on our plates lately, and we try to focus on baseball, but it would be unrealistic for us, anyone, to think of just baseball during these times. Your family stepped up and made a major contribution. I won't embarrass you to talk about how much, but it was a very significant contribution to establish basis for more racial equity in the Minneapolis area. Talk a little bit about the decision that the family made to step forward with such a significant contribution.
Well, I mean, the decision was made at a very emotionally charged time, approximately a year ago, but it did reflect, and it does reflect, I believe, what's in our family's hearts, and that is this quest for racial justice and equity. And I know that means different things to different people. We put messaging up in the ballpark to reflect what we believe, and maybe some could argue that that is in conflict because it's essentially political, but I don't believe it's political. I believe this is a human thing, and we all need to treat each other better. And there have been historically those that have been not treated well, and that's what we need to work toward. I'm not positive we can solve it in a year or with a fixed sum of money, because a lot of it's what's in people's hearts. But we're going to do whatever we can.
When your father bought the team back in 1984, baseball as an industry was considered to be pretty stoic, if not stagnant. But now we're seeing in baseball a lot of innovation. Ideas are being tried, some in the minor leagues, some have been adopted already in the big leagues out of necessity. How important do you think it is for baseball to evolve as it has in recent years rather than being stagnant as it was for so many decades?
Yeah, I think it's definitely important to evolve, I think, in all aspects of our life. Unfortunately, we can't ever stop things, and things evolve naturally on their own. And I think baseball has to do that also. You could use the example of calling into the bullpen. I mean, I'm not sure if they immediately adopted the telephone connection, but eventually technology, in that case, made it practical to and almost obvious to make that change.
Well, baseball is changing, and one of the changes, thankfully, this year is fans are allowed into Target Field and the other ballparks as well. On a personal level, how gratified were you when you came here to the first game this year and saw fans, 25% of capacity, but fans able to see their favorite team again?
Yeah, I mean, it kind of started in spring training, and I didn't go to any spring training games, but anecdotally, I heard how important it was for players to have fans, just literally fans, and not necessarily capacity fans or whatever, but just having fans in the ballpark was really important to them as they were on the field and competing. It was weird last year in July when I first went to the opener and all the subsequent games. I mean, it is a big difference, and even now with 10,000 fans permitted, it can sound normal, just like it used to be. And I think that's only going to get better.
Isn't it nice? We can't predict the future. You touched on that before. We don't know what the new normal is going to be like, but do you get the same sense of relief that I do, that just on the baseball side of things, the worst is behind us?
Yeah, I think maybe from the baseball side of things, in a large part, that's because we or the organization of Major League Baseball has learned how to deal with this better. I mean, clearly times are better than they were last year at this time, but I don't know. I can't say that next year at this exact time it's going to be totally normal, like it used to be in, say, 2019 and before. I don't know that.
Well, Jim, thank you so much for your time here today, and let's hope that at some point very soon our paths will physically cross instead of having to communicate via Zoom.
Well, the time went by really quickly, and thank you. We didn't discuss the current team performance. But, we're really, I just want to say that, I mean, I know that the team's gone through a rough patch the last couple of weeks here, but I know our organization, including me, totally believes in this team and its ability to end up where we want to be by the time the season ends.
Third time's the charm, 3 division championships and maybe our 3rd world championship coming up later.
I agree with you. Thanks.
Thanks, Jim. All right, and next we're going to take a moment to learn what the Twins Community Fund is doing this year. Stephanie Johnson, Executive Director of the Twins Community Fund, will share their update.
Hello, everyone, and thank you again for attending the Twins Home Run Lunch. I'm Stephanie Johnson, Executive Director of the Twins Community Fund, and I'm thrilled to have the opportunity to talk to you today. For 30 years, the Twins Community Fund has used the games of baseball and softball to improve lives and strengthen communities across Twins territory. Our grants and programs stem from the belief that sports can change kids' lives for the better. After this last year, we understand more than ever that providing opportunities for kids to safely come together, connect, and just play is crucially important to a young person's development. That is why we work so hard to ensure that every kid who wants to play the game has access to the resources and equipment they need to be able to do so. Over 3 decades, the Twins Community Fund has renovated more than 850 youth baseball and softball fields across the region, resulting in safe and competitive fields for more than 100,000 kids. We've provided $500,000 in free baseball and softball equipment to youth leagues and players in need of extra support, and we've introduced thousands of kids to the sport of baseball for the very first time through our partnership with Playworks Minnesota. We are also working to help kids off the playing field. Last spring, as COVID hit and it became clear that many of the families we serve in our baseball and softball programming were struggling to meet their basic needs, the Community Fund created an emergency relief fund. To date, that relief fund has provided more than $200,000 to organizations working in food insecurity, shelter, and education. Of course, none of this work would be possible without the support of our donors and partners. I'd like to take this opportunity to thank Twins Community Fund cornerstone partners Target, U.S. Bank, Treasure Island Resort and Casino, and Delta Airlines for their longtime support. And I'd like to invite anyone who's interested in learning more about the Twins Community Fund or would like to join us in our mission by making a donation to visit us at twinscommunityfund.org. Thanks, and enjoy the rest of the event.
Life, in a lot of ways, is about the people that you share it with, and being a part of a community and having a sense of belonging can be everything. Having that sense of a place that you fit is important, and some kids find that on the ball field in ways that maybe they can't in other places in their lives.
My best memories of playing baseball, I can't remember games we won or games we lost, but I can remember the teammates that I had, and I can remember, the pats on the back from the coaches, and the feeling that I had, and I think the feeling that young people have is just it's just immense joy when someone is there and they're showing you that they support you both through success and through failures. To know that you have someone looking out for you feels really, really good. And then when you have a coach and you have 9 other teammates and you're all going through that experience together and you're all cheering each other on, that creates connections that can last for a lifetime.
Bring it in. All right, great game, guys. We did exactly what we talked about beforehand. Cheering in the dugout. We got on base. We made it to third base. That's what we're good at, man. You You get to third base, you get in any way possible.
Being a part of a team is the fabric of our life. If you're married, you're in a team. You work in an office, you're a team. I hope that all of our coaches are taking time to teach that value. Teamwork is one of those values that is important for every one of us. It's pretty hard to stand alone at this time in life, and you gotta have people around you to succeed.
All right, let's call it. Matthew's on 3. 1, 2, 3, Matthew! All right, good job, guys. Woo.
This has been a TPT Partnerships co-production.
It's inspiring to hear that in spite of all the challenges we faced over the past year, that the Twins Community Fund continues to do great work for our community's young people. Speaking of doing great work for the community, it's time to present the 2021 Minnie and Paul Award. The Minnie and Paul Award recognizes a leader from the Twin Cities business or civic community committed to leading efforts to strengthen our region's economy and ensure the long-term accessibility of baseball across Twins territory. I'll turn the program over to Minneapolis City Council member Lisa Goodman to present Commissioner Margaret Anderson Keller this year's award.
Margaret Anderson Kelleher, a champion for the Minnesota Ballpark Authority, grew up on a farm in Mankato, Minnesota. She's been elected to the House of Representatives and served for 12 years, and also served as Speaker of the House of the Minnesota House of Representatives, elected by her peers. She was instrumental in passing a massive overhaul and funding bill to the state's transportation system, and has served on multiple outside boards and commissions, including the Broadband Task Force for Governor Dayton. She served on the MnSCU board, the State College and University System, and has been president of the Minnesota Textile Center. Margaret graduated from Gustavus Adolphus College, is married to David Kelleher, and has 2 wonderful grown children and a dog named Lucy. Margaret Kelleher has been a tireless ambassador for the Minnesota Twins as the president of the Minnesota Ballpark Authority. Her dedicated and committed leadership is what wins her this incredible honor today. Congratulations on a job well done.
Thank you. I want to thank the St. Paul Area Chamber, the Minneapolis Regional Chamber, the Twins Organization, and Win Twins.
Well, congratulations, Commissioner Anderson Kelleher. Thank you for your contributions to our community, helping to support baseball and our region's overall economy. Now I'd like to welcome Derek Falvey, Executive Vice President and Chief Baseball Officer, to our program. Derek, I think this year has already proven the streaky, cyclical nature of Major League Baseball. It's not just the Twins, but it sure seems like throughout baseball, teams are having a good week followed by a bad week, and thankfully the Twins are right now in a pretty good spot.
Yeah, I think you're right, Dick. Thanks for having me here, and I always enjoy catching up. Looking forward to when it's back in person for us with this event. But it certainly has been that way. I think when you go through a rough patch in July, it's difficult, but you have so many games behind you already that have gotten you off to a place where you feel there's still momentum. Unfortunately, we went through a tough stretch. There's no way to sugarcoat that, and we know that. But our guys are playing well again. I think we're starting to see some health return, some players on the field putting together the types of seasons we're expecting. And Kenta Maeda last night putting together the start I think we all hope to see going forward is a great sign for us.
To have the season stop as it did, as difficult as it was for the organization, maybe a stark reminder for everybody who follows the game, what has to be in place to even play the game of baseball this year.
No doubt. There are so many different, and even going back to last year, so many protocols, so many different rules and things you want to pay close attention to. It's been a difficult go, certainly for everybody across the game on that front. However, I know that everyone's gotten used to it. They're more prepared for what those situations are. And I think in our particular situation, if you track back a year, those early COVID outbreaks with clubs tended to shut down teams for a week, 10 days. losing, upwards of 10 games. For us to be able to manage that, contain our mild outbreak there, gave us a chance to keep us on the field.
I think with the minor league starting today, I can, from this point forward, dispense with the phrase alternate site, right? Now there'll be the AAA players will go back and forth from the AAA roster, correct?
Yeah, that's right. No more alternate site. Hopefully I never say alternate site again. I'm much like Dave with the crowd noise. I don't want to have to talk about that anymore.
Well, it's already proven to be a tremendous convenience to have this alternate site. Now the AAA team just 10 minutes away, hasn't it?
It certainly has. This is a tremendous partnership. I know Dave spoke at length about this earlier, but from a baseball standpoint and beyond the community, which we know the impact this will have in Minnesota baseball, but the baseball part of it for us, the ability to get our coaches over to the major league environment, our minor league coordinators, once they're traveling again and going from level to level, a chance to come through Target Field and be around our major league team. We talk about alignment and creating synergies between what we're doing in the major leagues all the way through the minor leagues. And I couldn't imagine a better setup for us to be able to do that.
You've got some very talented baseball players. You knew that. Talk a little bit, if you would, about Byron Buxton in the reigning, I guess, American League Player of the Month. I think we all saw the talent. I don't know that we could have seen a month like the one he put together.
Yeah, I think, Dick, you and I have talked about him over the years and really what he does in game-changing ability, right? We can say that and on both on defense and on the offensive side. And there have been ups and downs, certainly. Some of those with respect to health and staying on the field, and some of those from a performance standpoint. But the consistent element of Byron all the way through is that he continued to work. He continued to keep his head focused on the things he could control in his environment. And I think what we saw at the end of last year, his offensive approach changing, starting to figure out who he was as a hitter. I think oftentimes when you see someone as fast as Byron, your immediate thought is ball's on the ground, you're going to run. It's a certain type of profile that you think. This guy doesn't have a normal profile, right? The power that he has, the ability to run the way he does, the defense he has. We just want Byron to be Byron. And I think that's what we're starting to see is him becoming a much more comfortable version of himself every day he steps on the field.
To do your job well, and you do it well, you've got to have a little poker player in you. You're always looking to improve your club, and you knew you had in your organization some really talented people like Alex Kirilloff, and I'm sure a lot of other organizations were hoping to maybe pull off a trade with you to get someone like Alex. If you can, talk about him and what has allowed him to break through. We know about the first 15 at-bats, but from the first at-bat, he just looks like he belongs on a big league field.
He really does. This is something that tracks back to him in A-ball. When you're watching him as a young hitter and you see how comfortable he is and how he can understand how a pitcher attacks him, we saw that through the minor leagues. And ultimately, losing last season was difficult, certainly for every minor leaguer, but for Alex in particular, because he was somebody who was just getting to the upper levels of the minor leagues. And that's usually where you see the finishing of a young player's development. And we got a chance over in the St. Paul, I won't use alternate site, in our St. Paul facility to see him really establish himself late in the year. And when we dealt with injuries at the end of last season and needed a bat, to come on board and help us, we plucked him to be a part of our playoff group and ultimately got a chance to play in a game in the playoffs. And then when we restarted this year, you saw in spring training, maybe some of those growing pains again coming back, having missed that last season, getting his timing right, being comfortable, just letting the at-bat come to him. I think we saw, again, another run of that as he was over in St. Paul getting ready. When he got over the big league environment, those first 15 at-bats, the outcomes weren't perfect. But, Dick, you know this. You've watched this over the years. He started to hit balls hard. You saw him lining out. You thought, okay, these are going to start to fall. And as soon as they do, everything else will climb with it. I think that's what we're seeing now, a very comfortable, timed-up version of Alex Kirilloff that's impacting our team in a huge way.
Well, Derek, let's say goodbye to you now and hope that the good baseball that we've seen over the last few days will continue for another a week or two.
Well, thanks for having me, Dick, and I look forward to that too.
All right. Our thanks to Derek Falvey. Great to hear his insights as usual and about the team that has played so far and what we hope to have happen again as the season progresses. Last week, I was able to sit down with Twins manager Rocco Baldelli, the team's strength and conditioning coach Andrea Hayden, and players Jose Barrios and Luis Arise for a special one-on-one conversation. First, let's hear from Rocco Baldelli. We're very happy to have the manager of the Minnesota Twins, Rocco Baldelli, with us. And Rocco, if you'll allow me to, I'd like to go back to your playing days. Not that long ago, but you played for some pretty big-name managers, Lou Piniella, Joe Madden, Terry Francona. First of all, while you were playing, did you ever imagine that at some point you'd be managing a big league ball club?
Hey, Dick. No, I never had that thought. Never at any point. When I was playing, I had no idea what I would be doing when I was done playing baseball. It's something you kind of have in the back of your head, but as a player, you live in the moment a lot and you're worrying about what's going on maybe that year. So I was fortunate to be able to play for a lot of guys that I learned a lot of things from. Maybe playing for some of those guys is the reason why I eventually got to a point where managing and coaching was an option for me. And Lou Piniella and Joe and Tito, those are guys that they're very different. They all have their own personalities. They all have their own clubhouses, but you took different things from each guy. Lou was very stern, very to the point, let the players kind of figure things out sometimes in their own way. And he was tough on guys, and he got a lot out of a lot of players because of it. He knew when to have a little bit of a side conversation with you when you needed it. But he was more of an old school manager in a lot of ways. That was my first experience in the big leagues. And then Joe came in, very, very different, very positive in almost every possible way, in a way I'd never seen before in the game. And he taught me a lot of things about having fun at the ballpark and guys playing loose and relaxed, and was a real polar change for us in Tampa Bay at the time. Tito, again, I mean, what can you say about Tito that we haven't already heard? Another incredible guy, players manager in so many ways, keeps you going, keeps you laughing, keeps you a lot of things, but a tremendous clubhouse there too. Just very, very fortunate. And to say I learned a ton, it changed my life being able to play for those guys.
And yet, in any line of business, you've got to be yourself, and you have been yourself. And I think I know you well enough to know that you're kind of a laid-back guy. Is that a challenge when things aren't going well? Your first 2 years here, the team got above 500 and took off into the playoffs, but it's been a different type of year for you this year.
Yeah, and every year is going to be a little different, and you have to react to that. You got to do different things with different groups. This is a very different team than any team we've had before, and last year was different than the first year that I had over here. We're going to have to win in different ways. We're going to have to figure out how to get the most out of every guy. And yeah, you're never going to change who you are. I don't think that's never really the goal. But you have to find, I think, new ways to get things done, new ways to have conversations with guys. And sometimes maybe you even grow a little bit. And that's not just for the players that need to grow and adjust and figure out different things. That's definitely in what I have to do too, and what our staff has to do in order for us to succeed. But I have no doubt that the group we have right now can accomplish literally anything. That's the kind of talent, that's the kind of makeup we have in our clubhouse.
We've got a question from Paul Ahmed from Frame Changers, and I think we've already seen this play out in the opening weeks of the season. Having that alternate site and eventually the AAA team just 10, 15 minutes away has already been, I would guess, a huge help, not just to you as a manager, but to Derek and Thad as well.
It absolutely is. And St. Paul, being able to be over there, one with such an incredible class organization, that makes everything so much easier on us. But the location, the logistics, it usually gets really complicated. It's not something we talk about a lot, but just being able to operate with your team, halfway across the country does become difficult. Sometimes you're actually playing big league games short and not able to get the players actually where they need to be. None of that is an issue, at least when the team is at home in St. Paul right now. But the connection to an organization like that is something that I think every major league team dreams about, and something we're very fortunate for.
something managers have been concerned about for more than a century. You go down to spring training, Florida, Arizona, wherever, and then you get ready to start the season. You think, oh, okay, we got to play in Detroit and Minnesota, whatever. We might have some weather interruptions. Your interruptions have been because of much heavier reasons than rain or snow. And I know you don't like to make excuses, but looking at it now in your rear view mirror, how disruptive has it been to not have batting practice and not allow the players to get into the routines that they love to get into at the start of a season?
Yeah, you did. We never make excuses. So nothing that could possibly come up is a good reason for us to not be able to figure it out, not be able to get our work in. But this has been a season unlike anything I've ever been a part of in a lot of different ways. And there have been numerous reasons why we have not been able to play games. We've been, stuck in a hotel now for a period of time. We have guys that are dealing with COVID-related issues right now. It's our, responsibility to our team, to each other, to come together and to be strong and to focus on the things we need to do to get done. And, no one ever said it was going to be easy. No one ever said it was going to be smooth. But what we have to do is show up every day, ready to play. Even if things are not perfect. Other teams deal with things that are not perfect. Has anyone dealt with what we've dealt with this year? Maybe. I don't know. Maybe not, but that's okay. I think we can certainly overcome anything that comes our way.
In part because of the pandemic, the game itself has changed, and it looks like there are going to be changes ahead that the game will adopt at the major league level. How do you feel about, and this is again from Paul, how do you feel about the prospect of having robotic umpires and an electronic strike zone?
There are, when you think about it, there's this human level to things, and then there's the the purely just factual or objective takes on looking at things. Do we want all of the calls to be right on the field? Of course everyone does. I mean, absolutely. And if we go in that direction, will we find ways to adjust and make it work? I'm sure we will. I'll be honest, I'm not totally looking forward to the day where we're not being able to deal with people on the field. I think I would prefer to deal with the umpires and be able to have conversations with those guys and work through things. I think that helps. If it makes things easier in other ways, having an electronic strike zone and things like that, maybe it'll alleviate some of the stresses that we deal with out on the field. But I have mixed feelings about it. I think no matter what we end up doing, it's going to take some time for all of us to adjust and figure this out. I can't imagine that if we do go that route, it's going to be just to snap your fingers and all of a sudden we're vastly improved from anything that was happening before. I don't think that'll be the case, but we are ones that have to adjust. We always have to be ready for change and anything that comes our way. So whatever we're told, we'll make it work.
I want to ask you about two of your players who got off to really good starts. One is an emerging star, maybe an emerging superstar, Byron Buxton. You've seen him for a while in a Twins uniform. You saw him from a distance when you were still in the Tampa Bay organization. What have you noticed about Byron this year that is allowing him to realize the potential that people have held for him for so long?
Well, I'll be honest, he's been a really good player since the day I arrived in Minnesota, and I haven't seen anything but that from him over the last 3 years. And we're talking about a guy that has the type of athleticism and abilities on the field to do things, to just simply single-handedly win ball games for you in a way that you don't see in the game of baseball very often. So it's hard to not talk about his strength and his athleticism and his just ability to go get the baseball in center field and do things on the bases that just cause utter havoc for the other team. But the offensive side of the game has really come together for him in a big way. He's seeing the ball. I don't think he's overcomplicating his at bats, and he's a guy that can impact the baseball. I mean, he hits the ball very, very hard. And he's, I think, finding his swing in ways that, are really taking him to the absolute next level and really, carrying our team at times.
Another guy, it took a while for him to find his swing too. Until he was about the same age that Byron is now, and that's Nelson Cruz. 40 years old, still a very dangerous hitter. How do you account for someone who's older than you to be able to still go out there and produce at the level he's been able to produce?
Well, one, he's just a very, very high level, talented individual. That, you know, we know he's got the ability, and he has, and he's had it for a long time. That being said, he puts himself in position to succeed. He works and has a plan from the moment he wakes up in the morning to maximize everything he's doing, to prepare his body for where it needs to be. We're talking sleep, we're talking massage, we're talking swinging, whether it be at the field or at home. His routines are refined in a way that I have not really seen anybody else have, really ever. He brings it, and I'll include Byron back into this conversation too. We're talking about two guys that are leaders in every way. They lead by example. They lead by with encouragement. They are the people that bring a vibe to the clubhouse that I think elevates everything that goes on, and I'm very thankful that we have them here to be there for the rest of our group at all times.
Well, Rocco, thanks for the time here today, and we're looking for a recovery from the slow start and a third straight American League Central championship.
Thank you, Dick.
And now we'll get the inside scoop on the players' training from Twins strength and conditioning coach Andrea Hayden. Well, glass ceilings are breaking all over Major League Baseball, thankfully, and we have a bit of a pioneer with us today. The assistant director of the Major League Strength and Conditioning, Andrea Hayden, is with us. And Andrea, what's it been like for you to be doing what you have a passion for, but doing it for a big league ball club?
Absolutely. It's been a complete honor to be here and work for this organization. I take it very serious, my role, but I couldn't do it without the support of the people around me. I'm surrounded by amazing men every single day that make me feel included and valued and a part of this club. So I can do everything I do every day because of the support that I have from management, from our front office, from the players themselves, and from my own staff. So it's really been a great journey to be where I am. I'm thankful for the process and being here. It's pretty incredible.
Well, the process is interesting in and of itself, but tell us a little bit about your background. What prepped you for this job?
Yeah, I kind of had an untraditional path to get to where we are now. I'll try to keep it brief, but right out of high school, I went the personal training route and didn't find myself in university until I was 24. So feeling a little bit behind, kind of a chip on your shoulder, feeling like you have to keep up with the people around you. But that kind of put me on a path to accelerate me forward, and I was surrounded by some great people in the field that helped me through internships. I've been everywhere from University of Louisville out to San Diego with a company called Exos. I went to China, worked with women's hockey, and a little bit of everything that I can get my hands on in order to be exposed to strength and conditioning. And so that has led me through a great path of networking that I am standing where I am today because people have taken a chance on me and have given me an opportunity. And I say, like, I wear a jersey with all their names on my back because I represent them everywhere I go. And so I'm thankful for opportunities that I have, but I'm willing to push and work hard and choose the motto of courage over comfort and do the things that are hard and challenging and things that maybe don't come easy. I'm willing to risk it on myself and take a bet on myself. And that's kind of propelled me forward to where I am now.
The last couple of years have been challenging for everybody in just about any line of work, but now you're in charge of strength and conditioning. And traditionally that might have meant one thing, but I know over the last 2 years, there have to have been many special restrictions that you have to be under, that the players have to be under. Talk a little bit about those and how additionally challenging it is for someone in your position to get done what needs to get done.
Yeah, I don't think anyone could have foresaw the changes, the modifications that would have to be made in order to make sure our guys are staying healthy and out on the field and playing. And we went through, last year of having the shutdown and trying to be creative on how we help guys stay in shape. And whether that's through a lot of body weight workouts and bands and things that they could have, small pieces of equipment, and us having to be creative with how we handle that. And then you move forward and flash forward to where we are now and having to be creative with some of our hands-on things that we do with guys, having to figure out ways that we can work around it so we can keep that distance between each other, and just being creative as possible. And every guy is unique and there's nothing that's consistent from player to player. And so being creative as you can and meeting the needs that they have is always the priority. And so this is new challenges for us as a staff to come up with ways that we can make sure these guys are staying healthy. And like I said, being creative as possible to make sure that happens.
Well, I wanted to ask you about that. You've got a senior citizen almost on the roster in Nelson Cruz, 40 years of age. You've also got younger, less experienced players, say like Alex Kirilloff. Does it make a difference to you in how you treat or handle a player based on his seniority?
At the end of the day, honestly, it's about training age. So physical age really isn't necessarily a factor. You have to be considerate of what they are and what they've been through. But more than anything, their training age and what they've been exposed to in younger levels. You have, your Latin American guys are maybe a little bit different versus your, college guys that have been exposed to a strength and conditioning program at some point in their career. And so age and seniority maybe is not as a priority as much as it is the physical needs that they have and making sure that those are met.
This is a challenge that baseball players have had for as long as they've been playing and training in warm climates like Fort Myers. What special provisions, if any, do you have to allow for playing in 75 to 90-degree weather in Florida for 6 weeks, and then you open in Minnesota or Detroit or someplace where it's really, really cold?
Yeah, I can tell you from like the staff perspective, we don't like that either. We want some consistency. We want to find that, but it's being really mindful of hydration. I think that's a big focus for what we have when you have these climate changes and let alone flying and the risk that comes with that and the hydration needs for that. So that really helps us prepare for those changes in weather. And then, we have a group of guys that really doesn't like the cold. They really want to stay warm. And so having a dugout that has the heated benches and heaters that are in there to try to find some comfort for them, and then clothes, what we wear and things, those matter as well. But ideally we'd like to find that beautiful, Florida weather all the time, but we'll be moving around quite a bit.
One final question for you. You're in charge of a baseball team. You also are part of a team. I counted there are 11 members of the performance staff, including several other women. And I know that you have to have an awful lot of communication between team members when you're dealing with 26 players and sometimes many more than that.
Right, absolutely. That's a big key of our success is the way we communicate and how we communicate always. And it's not just in our morning meetings or to kick off, but it's throughout the day. And as you know, things change on the minute. And so making sure that we're in constant communication with each other when we have guys on the IL or something changes or they show up late or whatever it happens, we have to make sure that we're always communicating best we can.
Well, Andrea, I can't thank you enough for taking some time out today, and let's hope some of that Florida weather arrives here in Minnesota real soon.
Yes, sir. Thank you very much.
And now my interview with Twins players Jose Barrios and Luis Arraez. The best start. We have two players with us here who are off to very good starts. Right-handed starting pitcher Jose Barrios, and I don't even know what to call you, Luis. Are you a second baseman, a third base, left fielder? What? We'll just say a baseball player. How about that?
I mean, I wanna play everywhere because I think Rocco need me like play everywhere. I'll be available for play second base or stuff, whatever he need me. So I'll be ready for that.
Okay. Well, guys, thanks for doing this. And of course, the point of all this is for you to get some questions from Twins fans. So I have some here. And our first question submitted by Nancy Haas of Messerly Kramer. And she wonders how you two, over the course of a long season, stay motivated, how you keep your energy up, how you mentally stay focused. And Jose, let's start with you. As a starting pitcher, how do you extend yourself for a full 6-month season?
I think everything starts, we all together, like, obviously we are a teammate. We pass time, like, more than we are with our family. So we always try to help each other, try to bring that energy to the guy we have on the side. So that's what that guy do for me too. So obviously I'm a pitcher. I have to make hopefully like 32 outings per year. So yeah, the routine you do, day by day, every 5 days, I think that's the key for being available and strong, healthy to the end of the year.
Luis, how about you? Let's hope you get 550, 600 plate appearances this year. That's a long season, especially given how short the season was last year. How do you prepare yourself mentally, physically for the whole full season?
First one, I prepare like stay healthy. It's the first for every player. So it's a lot of games coming. I think we got a really good team for that. So I'll be ready every time. I come into the stadium, like try to join the baseball, try to like make it my day with my teammates. So for me, like Jose say, we are family. We are family here in the stadium, outside, wherever. But we're ready. We got a lot of more games coming.
Nancy has another question, wondering whether you, Jose, as a starting pitcher, have any rituals. Let's say you're going to start a game at 7:10. So when do you start to get ready mentally and physically to make a start that night?
I think mentally from the night before, trying to get a great rest, eat healthy and the right way. But then in the morning gonna pitch at that day, so start doing my routine. I eat breakfast. Obviously, I got 3 kids, so have fun with them at home. Try to don't be too stressed up front about the game. But yeah, when I went to the ballpark, I started doing my plan for the game. See the scouting report and talk about it with the catcher and the pitching coach.
But then now, when do you go to the bullpen? How many pitches do you throw in the bullpen to lead up to that first pitch at 7:10?
So in the bullpen, I throw around 25, 30 sometimes, but normally it's like 20, 25. So yeah, I try to get loose out there. But yeah, we bring a plan to the bullpen, but that don't mean if you have a great bullpen, you're gonna have a great outing on the mound. But I get loose out there. Then when I come to the mound, I turn on my switch to a game mode.
Luis, it's been a very disruptive start to the season in terms of position players haven't been able to have batting practice. A lot of day games, some weather issues, some other factors. How much has that impacted what your routine is and what you like to do before that game that's going to start at 7:10?
For me, I still doing my routine every day. Coming early to the stadium, doing my routine. We got a lot of early games, so it's not an excuse for doing with routine. But I come in really early. Like I come in and say, "Poppy, hey, let's go do some my routine," and they will be ready for the game.
Okay, we have a question. Michael from Abbott is wondering what mental techniques do you use when the game is on the line? Jose, let's say that the Twins are leading 3-2. You're in the 7th inning and there are runners at 2nd and 3rd, and maybe physically you're a little tired, but you need to make a really good pitch. How do you mentally prepare for those big moments when you're on the mound?
Yeah, we think about that situation in the game, obviously, because you don't finish how you start. Obviously, when you start the game, you start with 1 pitch. Then the 7th inning, you got around 90, 100 pitches. So you have to figure out and, you know, ¿cómo se dice? Anticipate that situation. So yeah, but when we had that situation, like you say, man on second, 2 out or whatever, just try to focus, you know, pitch by pitch, you know, trying to make a quality pitch right in the moment. And yeah, if we make that quality pitch, we're gonna have a lot of chance to make him out.
Luis, I think it's an easier answer for you because I think you're just as intense in the first inning as you might be in the ninth inning with the game line. But when you have those key moments, whether it's 3-2 in the ninth inning, and you step out of the box, what are you thinking about mentally to get ready for that next pitch?
Positive. Like, I feel really good. Like when it's 3-2, I say, oh, he's in trouble. He got it thrown over there or a walk. So that's right. I mean, I stay like, I'll be ready for whatever pitch he throws, and then I'll try to win the at-bat.
Tara from Abbott is asking you guys, and we'll start with you again, Jose. Of course, routines away from the ballpark have been disrupted because of the pandemic. But when you're away from the ballpark and you have the opportunity to spend time with your teammates, what's your favorite activity to do with your teammates?
So right now, during the pandemic or before?
Let's go before, in the hopes at the end of this season, we'll have a more normal lifestyle.
I think our favorite part, you know, to be with my teammate out of the field is when to take a dinner. You know, every city had a special restaurant or one we like, you know, much. So we figured out when we went to the plane or the bus. So hey, we went to Chicago, we went to Detroit. So let's get and take a dinner in this place. So we figured out that, and then we go out there and, you know, have fun like a normal people. You know, enjoy our food and talk about life.
Luis, our final question is directed at you. The home opener here a couple weeks ago was special because fans were allowed back in the ballpark. What did it mean to you to be able to play baseball again in front of fans as opposed to last year when no one could watch?
The fans is everything for us because they give me like a lot of energy. And then when I saw the fans, when I say a couple times to go, I say they making me crazy. They making me crazy when they say, Luis, let's go, Luis. And then I say, I got to do something good for the fans, and especially for my team too. But the fans is everything for us.
Guys, I can't thank you enough for doing this and for doing it in English. I don't know much Spanish, but I'll just simply wish you vaya con Dios.
Yeah, amen.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Well, the Twins have won 4 of their last 5 games, and they'll try to continue to play their good baseball that we've seen in tonight's game 2 with Texas. Before we wrap things up, I've got a few Minnesota Twins prize packs to give away to 3 lucky attendees today. There's some autograph items and some other things that might be yours if you are the lucky winner. Let's go to spin number 1. Rich Feely is a winner. Congratulations, Rich. And now for spin number 2. Katie Thomas is a winner. Congratulations, Katie. And now spin number 3. Sharon Reinhardt is a winner. Congratulations to all of you. I hope you enjoy your prize packs. Someone will be in touch with you soon so you can get your prize. And thanks again for joining us for today's event. We're excited to be hosting fans back at Target Field. We invite you to join us for a game real soon. And as we close, I'd like to once again thank all of our sponsors. Our premier sponsor, Abbott. Our contributing sponsors, Flint Hills Resources, Frame Changers, Meserly Kramer, the Minnesota Timberwolves and Lynx, Mortensen, St. Paul Pioneer Press, and XL Energy. The event level sponsors, 5 Eyewitness News, DLR Group, McGough, Minnesota United FC, and Voice Hive. And last but not least, we want to thank the members of the Minnesota Twins and Chamber teams who worked to put this event together. And that's a wrap. We hope you enjoyed the program. Hope you'll join us on TV on Bally Sports North for tonight's game if you're not going to be here in person. And let's hope that sometime soon you'll all be able to enjoy your favorite baseball team at Target Field. Have a good day.